I swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That is why I'm speaking tonight. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Malia. I'm a veteran with 2 combat deployments where I served as a counterterrorism intelligence analyst. That is the lens I am bringing to you tonight. Not a hobbyist opinion, not a partisan opinion, a professional opinion. I am here to tell you that renewing FLOC is a national security risk, and I am not the only person in my field who holds that view. Let me walk you through what we actually know, not what I suspect, what is documented. On November 3rd of last year, a United States Senator and Congressman sent a joint letter to the FTC asking for an investigation into FLOC safety. That letter is public, which I have provided to the council and encourage everyone in the room to read tonight prior to a vote. In that letter, 3 things were placed on the public record. First, FLOC does not require multi-factor authentication for its law enforcement customers. Second, the cybersecurity firm Hudson Rock has documented at least 35 FLOC customer accounts whose passwords have been stolen by hackers and are circulating online right now. Third, and this is the one I want every member of the council to hear clearly, a security researcher provided Congress with a screenshot from a Russian language cybercrime forum showing FLOC accounts being offered for sale online and then removed, indicating they have been sold successfully. Russian cybercrime forum. I've seen it for myself, the source directly. That is not speculation, that is documented evidence handed to the United States Congress. Now I want you to understand what that means in my world. Foreign intelligence services target government officials, they target journalists, they target dissidents. They target the most talented engineers and scientists in this country because slowing American innovation is a strategic objective for our adversaries. They target women, they target children for trafficking and for kidnapping. Pattern of life data, knowing where a person drives, when, how often, with whom, is the single most valuable input for any of those operations. To quote the police chief directly, we don't do high-speed chases anymore because we already know where they're going. That is pattern of life. That is what license plate readers produce. That is the product. And we now have documented evidence that access to it is being trafficked on Russian forums. So when you vote on FLOC, you are not voting on a parking enforcement tool. You are voting on whether to keep feeding a database that has already been breached, that is already being accessed by federal agents who are not authorized, that is already being sold on foreign cybercrime forums and that sits inside a federated network most residents of the city have never heard of. Now I want to address something directly. I have heard it suggested that the community wants FLOC. I would like to know who. On March 31st, this council held a meeting that ran 7.5 hours. 3 of those hours were spent on FLOC. 13 residents, including myself, stood at this podium, and 1 spoke in opposition. 2 weeks ago, this community led a discussion on FLOC. Roughly 70 residents attended. The room was largely opposed. Tonight, when you hear from the public, I expect you will hear the same thing. Very few voices in support. Many voices from many backgrounds telling you the same thing. And on that point, I want this council to know, on the record in this room tonight, that earlier today, I filed a formal Wisconsin Public Records request with the city of Oshkosh. That request seeks every communication the city has received from the public over the past 12 months regarding FLOC, ALPRs, or related surveillance technology. Every email to every council member, the mayor, the city manager, and the police chief. Every letter, every voicemail, every social media message, every comment submitted through the city's website, and under Shilvie, Wisconsin Rapids School District, communications sent to personal email addresses and personal phones when they concern city business are public records as well. I'm telling you this publicly so there is no ambiguity. The actual record of constituent contact is going to become public. So if anyone tonight tells you the community wants this, that claim will be measured against the real correspondence already sitting in the city's inboxes. I would encourage every member of the council to consider that before you vote tonight. You have technical experts telling you FLOC is a data breach risk. You have a national security professional, myself, telling you this data is exactly what our adversaries collect and exploit. You have civil liberties advocates telling you the constitutional questions are unsettled and in active litigation. You have residents telling you that they do not consent to being tracked. So I would like to ask the council on the record, who is asking you to renew FLOC? Because it's not the experts, it's not the veterans, it's not the 70 or so people that showed up to the town hall, and I do not believe it is going to be the people who show up tonight. I have 4 requests if you are undecided or intend to vote yes on renewal. 1, a complete public accounting of every agency receiving Oshkosh data direct and downstream through the MOCIC, through Midwest HIDTA, and through every federated fusion center in that chain. 2, a public change log on the Flock Transparency Portal, including but not limited to an itemized record of what
Excuse me,
sharing
miss, your
policy
time's up.
changed, when and why. Would you like to hear my last 2 requests? That's it.
Your time's up.